Hi, and thanks for clicking on my video. In the next couple minutes, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks for how to upholster with leather on something that has a curve. I'm pretty confident by the end of this video, you're going to be wanting to recover all of the furniture in your house. So to get started, you're obviously going to need a piece of furniture, and you're going to need your leather. I've cut this out using the old fabric that was on my chair as a template. You're also going to want a medium to heavy duty staple gun with staples, some pliers or vice grips, preferably something that has teeth on it, a staple remover. I've just used a flathead screwdriver and bent it just to get some leverage. That's what I use to remove old staples. And then you're going to want a squirt gun of water. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is actually get our leather wet. Now, you've always been told, you can't wash your leather coat. So why is it okay to get this wet? Well, the reason you can't wash the leather coat is because when leather is wet, it stretches and it easily changes shape. And then when it dries again, it usually gets a little more hard and actually will shrink as it dries. Now, those two things we're actually going to use to our advantage when we're using leather to upholster on a curve. So take your spray bottle and get your leather pretty damp. Now, I should mention you're going to want to spray the water on the suede side of the leather. That's going to allow it to soak in a lot more. So you're going to want to take your leather and sort of just play around a little bit and see where you think the best place to start is. Generally, it's going to be on the bottom, and then you're going to work your way up a little bit. But it's good to know that the first couple staples you put in, you're very likely going to have to remove along the way. So don't fuss too much about where they go to start. Okay, so now that we've sort of got basically the corners and the edges in place, this is when we're really going to start to go around and shape the leather across the curve and around the contours of the edge. So as I said before, these staples we just put in very likely will come out again, but they're just going to help us get started. So what you want to do is just start to massage the leather. Don't pull it or yank it, but just sort of massage it into the place you need. And see, so I've already pulled that staple out because I know that I need to actually get this quite a bit further over. And I'm not going to yank it, I'm just going to sort of massage it into the corners I need. And with the leather being wet, it actually will change shape and come from a two-dimensional to a slightly three-dimensional shape, which is what we want to avoid getting any sort of wrinkles or folds. We want this to be a really smooth upholstery job. So with the damp leather, it makes it a lot easier to just pull it tight around that corner there without having any folds. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side and then work our way all the way around, massaging and getting it to go over those sharp corners here. Okay, so now that I've got the outer corners massaged and pulled around here, I'm going to start working to get these inner contours that go down, smooth that out, and bring in this curve a little tighter here. So the best way to do that is actually cut notches. You should know how much extra you need there, because obviously when you're cutting out your pattern, you need to add a couple inches so you have something to be able to grab onto and pull. So cut back into your seam allowance, and that's going to really help this lay flat down and massage that leather into this rounded shape we need. And then again, take your pliers, grab a hold of that, and let it pull. And you want to pull this pretty tight, but obviously not so tight that it tears the leather or loses its shape. And then just start stapling around. You really want to put quite a few staples in, because as this piece of furniture is used, the leather is going to be pulled on, and you would hate for it to start tearing out because it wasn't held in enough places. So you can see it's really starting to take shape, and all I'm going to do is continue going around. Pulling, massaging, pulling, massaging, pulling, massaging, and stapling. Now, you might have remembered a couple minutes ago when I was talking about the leather jacket, and when that gets wet, the reason you don't want that is because as it dries, it will shrink a little. Well, we're going to use that to our advantage. So if there's a few loose looking areas or a couple small ripples, the goal here is that as this dries, it will shrink and almost like shrink wrap to the form. So we want to get rid of as much folding and wrinkling now as possible, but any minor wrinkling, as it shrinks, that's going to smooth out. Now, when you get a really bad fold like that, cut out some notches, just get rid of that excess, and that's going to allow you to really pull this and massage this and fold this back even flatter. And there you have it. As you can see, I took this piece of leather and it's very smooth and contoured across all of these round edges here. So basically I'm just going to do the exact same thing to the back. And with my particular piece of furniture where they meet, I'll take another strip and just go over that seam, put some nice upholstery tacks in there, and voila, it'll be done. So if you have any questions about your project, put something in the comments below. I promise that I will answer any upholstery or leather related questions that I can. And thanks again for watching.